takes action. It's been described as urging the movement towards a braver and more impactful sort of action. And for more on this, I'm joined now live by the Shadow Minister for Indigenous Australians, Linda Burney. Linda Burney, thanks for being back on the program.
Good morning, Thomas. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for your time. Reconciliation Week, an annual event, of course. What do you make of this year's theme, taking braver and more impactful action? What does that mean to you?
Well, it means, to me personally, it means that we're all able to do something towards the process of reconciliation. Me, you, the people listening to us, everyone. The theme is basically saying it can't be just seen as a word or a concept in Australia. It actually requires action. And one of the wonderful things, Thomas, is that it's bookended by the fact that Wednesday was National Sorry Day, 4 years since the Uluru Statement, and it's back-ended by the recognition that 3rd of June is the day that the High Court made the decision on Mabo all those years ago.
As you say, reconciliation, it's a journey for all Australians. I mean, what misconceptions still need to be addressed when it comes to reconciliation, Linda Burney?
I think a lot of people think it's such a big issue. What can I do as an individual? And my message to people this year is you can do something as an individual. A lot of people say to me, I'd like to get involved and contribute to an Aboriginal organisation. What is it I can do? And my response is this, Thomas: you can be the best informed that you possibly can be. We have such wonderful poets. We have people that are authors. We have people that are in the sports arena. We have Aboriginal people right across the board, including in politics. And really, reconciliation is not going to come about because a government does something that's sweeping. Reconciliation comes about by the actions of individuals. And one example is I cannot remember going to a school in the last 5 years, and I go to lots of schools, where the Aboriginal flag is not flying and the assembly is started by an acknowledgement of country.
Yeah, and that is becoming more common. I was at the theatre a few days ago and they started the production with an acknowledgement of country, which was really powerful for me. Does that bring, given you're in politics, I was going to ask you, about the political side of it, but really, does this come down to grassroots and an understanding of the community, not political action and policies?
Well, it is about grassroots understanding and action, but of course there is an important role for the political arena. It just worries me enormously that we have the 4th anniversary last Wednesday, as I said, of the Uluru Statement, where the people that gathered at the base of Uluru made that incredibly generous invitation to Australian people to walk together towards a constitutionally enshrined voice. And that requires a referendum. So that requires government action, an enshrined voice to the Parliament. It also requires government action to realise that a Makarrata Commission with the national process of truth-telling and agreement and treaty-making requires government action. And I am fearful, Thomas, that the lack of action and attention to this by the current government may see an opportunity squandered. Certainly Labor has an absolute commitment to the Uluru Statement and the 3 elements of it, and we are working very hard at the moment of actually putting some meat on those bones. But to have a successful referendum in Australia requires bipartisan support, both from the government and the opposition, and at the moment we certainly don't have that.
I mean, do you acknowledge, I think we have heard in the past comments about constitutional recognition. The government does take it seriously but views that it's too important to rush and too important to fail.
Look, that is what the government says, but just think about it. If the government, there is going to be an election in the next 12 months. If there is an early election, say November, then there is absolutely no way that the government's going to bring forward legislation that would establish a voice to the parliament. They will run out of time, and that's the political reality. So what I am saying to the government, look, we are offering bipartisan support on this. You know, let's get this thing done. It is absolutely possible. And Thomas, this is a classic example where the people of this country are ahead of where the government's at. I know that if a referendum was called and there was bipartisan support and the moral was explained to people about a voice to the parliament, which is not about usurping the sovereignty of the parliament, it is not a third chamber, it is simply an advisory body elected from First Nations people across the country. I know that the Australian people would support that.
Okay, Linda Burney, we're out of time, but thank you very much for joining us this morning.